Checo, Donovan Smith, Drew Tranquil. Everybody else is working. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Well.
He announced today that he retired, and what a great guy. I got to coach him 8 years at Chicago, and I just wanted to mention that first. Go ahead, fire away.
You had more kickoff returns Sunday night I'd seen in the game this year, both teams. What was it, the conditions or?
Yeah, the cold weather obviously affects the football. You can't kick them as high. You don't get the hang time, so it gives you an opportunity to get returns. You get the ball in your hand, and the coverage is not right on top of you, so you take a shot. I mean, every week is different. It depends on who you're playing, what their coverage teams look like, and how high they hang the ball, and weather. All those things come into play every week. So we were able to get a couple last week.
Were you satisfied with the teams?
Yeah. I thought we were one block away on the first kick return. That we had the middle, and then the left. We obviously got that one out to the 34, I think, or 34, 35. So those are good results. 17. Richie is, he's done a good job so far.
Dave, do you see any similarities between Butker and Robbie Gould?
A lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, great. I mean, I've been fortunate to have two great those two guys, and and very similar in their stature. Taller guy. Robbie was at the time was probably way taller than a lot of other kickers in the league, and now Bucker's tall, but not the tallest anymore. But they're both similar in their technique. The consistent technique. It's easy to coach and easy to see when they do something a little different than what they normally do, because they're so consistent. And both of them great guys and hard workers. So they're a lot similar that way.
What's the scouting report about the Bills? What are they like?
Yeah, very good. I mean, they got the same personnel as they had last year. They're all back. They got one rookie on their special teams. That's it. The rest of them are all guys that played there last year, and they fly around. Very, very good on kickoff coverage and punt coverage. I think that's where they excel. They fly around. They play hard. A testament to their special teams coach and Sean McDermott. You could tell that it's real important to him, and he puts a lot of emphasis on it. And the kicker, obviously he's missed a couple, but he's still, he's a quality kicker, and the punter is 11-year vet, Sam Martin, who's a great directional punter. So, all good. It's going to be a good challenge for us.
Dave, how would you just evaluate what Shamar and Connor's been able to give you as a rookie?
He keeps getting better and better. I mean, that's 2 games in a row now. He made beautiful tackles on punt, and open field tackles. So it tells you a lot about his football ability. He's going to be a great one down the road. I'm enjoying the fact that I got him right now, and I know eventually he's going to, end up being in depth as getting more and more reps on defense. He's already getting a lot now, but he's going to get more and more as we go forward. He's a player that you should be excited about.
Were you able to see much out of Boydo?
For the limited reps that he had, he wasn't bad. There's always a big jump from the first, from the first game to the second game. So we're looking forward to seeing that. He got out on the gunner rep, and he beat his man speed-wise. That's what we knew he was good at. He just overstriding in space a little bit, and kind of got outside of him, but he did make it spill, and then Connor made the tackle. But we're looking for him to take the next step, maybe get a hand on a returner next time, and then the next time get him on the ground. So, it's a progression, with the rookies, but he's not afraid, which is good.
Couple more.
Do you show clips of other teams and other players, of good special teams?
All the time. Yeah, we have a thing we call the big play tape. Josh Schmidt, our video guy, puts it together every week, and we watch it at the end of the week. And it's all big plays that happen, good and bad, and we learn from that. And we spend a lot of time on it too, because I think it's important that you look at block punts. Why did that block punt? What would we do different? This kickoff return ripped them. Why did they get out on it? Because this out of position, whatever. So you learn from those mistakes and good things that other teams do, and you apply it in your game.
Anybody else?
Thanks.
They're nice, aren't they? The ones, the guys, that were really nice. I gotta find one somewhere in the, might be in my locker, I haven't pulled it out yet. Well, listen, a little disappointed in last week, but we're on to the next one, and they do not get any easier, because we know in times past with this offense, they're tough to defend. So with that, I'll just kind of open it up and let you guys roll.
What's been the challenge with maybe the run game a little bit earlier in games these past 2 weeks?
Yeah, I tell you what, it comes back, we've talked extensively about this week. You know, sometimes I'm not so sure we hone in on that part of it early, and I'd like us to do that, because first and second down has really been, like, if you look at it, has been more of a problem for us than maybe third down. We only got them to 10 third downs last week. If you count the fourth down, it would have been 11, those kind of situations, and that's not enough. I mean, you got to get teams into 15, 16, 17, 18 third downs, and then hopefully you win in 12 or 13 of them. That didn't happen. So that part of it has been a main focus. Joe's been all over it, Brendan, the upfront people. It's all 11 guys. I'd like us to see us play better. When you pull them all out and you look at the ones that are going for longer yardage than you really want to, everybody's playing a part in it. It's not just one guy or one person, and so everybody needs to clean it up.
Potentially with a cast, what kind of boost can Nick Bolton provide in that regard?
Well, I tell you what, he provides, he boosts me, because no, I mean that, like, he's an energy giver. I know the guys feel that in the huddle. You know, we've had a day, Tuesday, where we do a little walkthrough, yesterday where it's, you know, he's just, everybody knows what he's all about and what he brings and how he communicates, and you'd have to ask him a little bit more exactly, you know, he knows where he's at with all that, but we trust the trainers and Nick on that.
You said a minute ago, you want guys to maybe hone in on the running game a little more.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on that, what that means?
Well, I mean, sometimes, listen, we all want to, everybody wants to get after the quarterback. We want to get him in the passing situations. That doesn't, you can't do that until you earn the right to get him in that. So I think we all need to hone in on that part of our game, you know, defensively, and just stiffen it up a little bit. I think that'll help us do a lot better in other situations, you know what I mean? We need to do that.
Steve, with the first
the last two games, you know, the starts where
Yeah.
teams have had touchdowns. Anything you're trying to address with the team to try to alleviate that? Because the first 10 games you didn't have much of that.
No, I know it. We went from one extreme to the other, it feels like, right? And listen, we say it all the time. We want our quarterback to play from ahead, or, you know, we don't want him to be playing from behind. We don't want our offense doing that. So there's been a focus on that, or it's I mean, how much can you really focus on it, right? I mean, we just got to line up, buckle it up, put the chin strap on, and go out there in the first series and get something done. Now, I will say this. Offenses are, you know, we all know they script plays, right? So they're pretty good on those first 15. We've got a lot of teams that we play. This team's really good at it. If we can win that first series and keep some points off the board, I think that helps our whole team.
Steve, you're known for playing just a variety of coverages in the back end. Obviously, a very good group in the dime personnel, but
Yeah.
is there less that you can do without Brian Cook, or how much does Brian Cook's absence change the equation?
Well, we'll miss Brian because I think he did a lot of good. The things that stick out, a couple of plays that stick out for me and Brian. I keep going. We've talked about this before, that play in the Jet game where, you know, he's made some open field tackles that are really important. We need the guys that go in there for him to do the same thing. I think we're really fortunate in having Mike Edwards, because Mike will be the guy that will fill in there for Brian. And Mike's a cerebral guy that has picked up the defense really well. Even when he's in there, you guys see he's been rotated in there a little bit more, and that's a compliment to him. So hopefully we don't skip a beat from the standpoint of how we function with the chemistry, and we got kind of trust in Mike to do that.
We were
Was
talking
there something about this roster that prompted you? It seems like you rotated guys in for potentially needing them in like situations like this.
Back early?
Yeah, early
Yeah.
in the season.
I think we might have talked about that one day here. I know I've talked about it with the coaches. I believe in that early in the game to get as many people. It's a long haul, you know, 17 weeks. Guys are going to get dinged and get hurt. And thank God we did it with Drew initially. We've always had Mike going in and out, and then it got to be a little bit more. He kind of earned that. You know, Charles, same thing. And, you know, when you get in these games and, you know, you get into the fourth quarter and you got a number of plays under your belt, it's good to have fresh guys. I think that's really important. And, you know, one of the things we do, I don't know if you guys, you may or may not see it. You see it at times. Like, you'll always see us when we do little walkthroughs out there, split in two groups. Like, it's not just one group with a bunch of guys watching. We believe in everybody being ready to play. I think that's really key when you get to this part of the season.
We were talking yesterday in the locker room with Trent, with Duffy, and he was talking about, he thought he'd made a few mistakes with his eyes the past couple of weeks, eye discipline. How do you coach that? And
Oh, yeah.
And what, I mean, it's obviously very important.
It's trained. I mean, we've talked about eye discipline right back to OTAs. I have a PowerPoint still. It's a tiger, you know, with all you see of his eyes. You guys ever see the picture of? I know you've all seen Mike Singletary's picture, right? So we've got that one. I mean, we're always talking about it. Now, we can only go so far in training the eyes. I'm talking about the coaches, and at some point it comes back to the player to make sure, you know, we teach what you should look at before the snap. It's up to them to actually look at that. But you can see it all around the league. Guys with wandering eyes looking, and they either lose coverage or lose somebody. And it happens up front too with the D-line. You know, a D-lineman is supposed to have this gap, but he starts peeking, and then the back makes you look bad. So eye discipline's really important.
Steve, with the offensive coordinator only having 2 games under his belt, how do you navigate what their tendencies were versus what
Yeah,
they were?
not easy. You know, we'll lean on the 2 games that he has called. I don't think they've strayed too far from what they do. I mean, the quarterback is still the quarterback. I think all good coordinators, and Joe's a good one, will have the quarterback doing the things he's comfortable with. You can kind of see some of those things on tape, so I don't think they'll stray too far.
Josh Allen, Brian Gimme, you've seen a lot of different quarterbacks that can run.
Yeah.
How's, you know, is he one of the better ones? Is his
Yeah.
passing skills make him tougher to defend because he's pretty good?
And it's hard to bring down. He's such a big dude. I mean, I can't find too many clips on there when he scrambles that he slides. He turns into a fullback, really. I think he's an elite competitor. You know, every time you go against him, I mean, even when you hear him on the sideline, that, to me, that elevates him. And the threat that he has, being a pocket passer and throwing it as a strong arm quarterback and getting out of the pocket, extending it down, he's always looking downfield. And I know I put a PowerPoint up yesterday. You can check this, but scrambling and then throwing it, how many passing yards? I think it was over 400. It's like 483 or something. I think it's the best in the league. So that speaks volumes to what you're talking about. And he can tuck it and run it too.
Is it difficult, just kind of in theory, not necessarily him, you got a guy who can run, you've done run the same kind of power stuff that Josh does, but when they get on the sideline, is that difficult, guys that are runners like him to not end up getting that personal foul penalty? And
Yeah.
You have to, is that something you?
Yeah, yeah, because the minute you back off and not want to get the penalty, they go another extra 5 yards. I mean, our guy's pretty good at that too. That's a fine line. Like even, was it last week? Did they get flagged for one? That, yeah, I just happened to look at the replay, and I know it was close or it looked close, but it probably could have gone either way. You know? Yeah. It's not easy for defensive guys in that situation, to be quite honest with you. And as big as he is, if all of a sudden you pull off and he wants to go forward, he gains another 5 yards and it's a first down. And when in doubt, best hit him, right? And just be smart about it. Don't hit him in the head and all the other things. But the other thing that he's really good at, and he's so strong and big, is he has a mean stiff arm. Like, he's got the ball in one hand ready to throw, and he can hold guys. You know, and you're a little kid and the older brother. Yeah, sometimes that's kind of what he does. I mean, he's really good. I got a lot of respect for him. We good?
Three more, sorry.
Okay, you
Let's
got it.
start Matt.
You mentioned about splitting up into groups during the walkthroughs in two groups. I'm assuming that's where Jack Cochran would get most of the work as a middle. So how much does that help you?
I mean, you could ask Jack, but I think those guys find that really valuable. You know, we always say be on the sideline, get mental reps. I mean, you got to do that if you're not out there. But there's nothing like standing out there and actually doing it. And yeah, we're lucky. We got a bunch of managers and scouts and people that help us all the time. The doc's out there, Sean's out there all the time. You just need a body, right, to say they're doing this. And our guys are great. I mean, they love doing it. I yell at them once in a while to do it right.
Steve, how much does first down success rate for the offense and the eye discipline come into effect, or does it get even more magnified when a team like the Packers does play action?
Yeah, well, I mean, the play action part of it is, listen, when an offense puts a play action pass in, they're trying to mess with your eyes. They're trying to show you one thing and have it be something else. So you've got to find something in your film study, and this is what we spend a lot of time on. High hats, low hats in the O-line, you know. Get your eyes out on wideouts. If they're not blocking somebody, might be a pass. You know, I mean, there's little things like that. If all you do is stare at the quarterback, and this is where sometimes guys get in trouble, that he's going to get you in trouble because he's the guy making it look like a run, or making it look like they have draw that pops back to be a pass. Or you have to play defensive football with your eyes. Our side of the ball is all reactionary, right? You got to make sure you're reacting to the right thing. So we're giving them all week long things that they should be looking at pre-snap, when the ball is snapped, and then go play. At that point, it's up to them. Oh, we wore Sam out.
All righty, have at it.
Looking like no Pacheco maybe this weekend. What's it gonna look like without him the first time this year?
Well, we'll see. You know, I think that it's one of those mentalities that we always say. It's a cliche that next man up if it goes that direction. And I think that room has done a good job. That's one of the things, building depth in that room. When you have that, it's always nice to have. So, I mean, Pops has been phenomenal for us all year. You can see, he brings that energy, that physicality, really starting to become that leader as well. So, the other guys in that room have done a really good job all year long of just really starting to complete that room with joining him, doing all the stuff we ask, and it's got to be the next man up mentality.
I know we're talking about potential here, so we'll see. But what's the challenge of a former first rounder kind of getting a role can dial back and then having to maybe come in and be that guy again?
Yeah, I think these guys being professionals. I think the really good ones probably they should prep like that every single week. You just never know when your opportunity is going to come, and so whether it's in the beginning of the week or middle of the week, so you can get some practice reps, or sometimes, and a lot of times for the quarterback, it's in the spur of the moment type deal. So it's your job as a professional to always prepare the right way, and then when you have that opportunity, and Clyde and these other guys in there, Clyde's a vet, so he understands that, he gets it.
What are you seeing from Clyde lately, just his opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, I think his speed looks good as far as his running between the tackles. He's been really, really good, even mentally when you go through a transition or you go through what he's been through the last couple of years. I think for him, he's been a really good mentor and leader in the room. It starts there, and then when you get on the field, when given opportunities, he's trying to make the most of it. And that's what I respect the most about him. And in these situations, the running back position gets hit quite a bit. So if you have an injury or you have somebody the next man up, you want to have a guy like Clyde that's ready.
How has Deneric been following and coming up along?
Pretty good. Yeah, he's been doing well. He's a quiet kid, so there's I think he just kind of takes it all in. And when we jump in and out of the running back meeting rooms, he's in there, always locked in. And this is again for him a great opportunity to. Kind of like Rasheed when he got in here, everything was very fast, and so it was like that for Deneric too. And he's not getting the game reps that Rasheed has, but the mental reps, seeing how practice goes, how meetings go, and he looks good. He looks fresh.
You guys always talk about being on the same, receiver, quarterback being on the same page. There's obviously option routes. How many options are you? You think of the old option football. We got fullback dive. We got the pitch, the quarterback. There's 3 options. When you do those option routes, how many different options are there for the receiver to take that the quarterback and receiver have to work through?
Are you talking run game or pass game?
Pass game, like a quarterback receiver when he has it.
Yeah, sure. In the route, there's several of those. At different times, different positions, different areas of the field, whether it's boundary or field, and those are some of the ones that take feel and time and reps when you get into that. So I think what we got to do is, as a staff, value the amount of time, reps, and feel that these guys have, and that's.
But are there 3 options, 5 options? 7?
Oh, in the one route,
Yeah,
it depends what offense you're in and what your rules are. Everyone's different.
And then I think you guys would call them a crossing route. Defenses would call it a pick route, right? Like when you do those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. Like a little mesh route.
Yeah. How important is it when you're going to focus on that? Is the guy who's coming across to make sure he creates traffic? Yeah,
you want to be able to. Again, there's a little bit of a feel. There is every defensive look is different, so it's kind of understanding that. There's a lot that goes into that kind of stuff. Whether it is crossers with mesh routes, everyone does them. It's how you do them. There's rules within that and what you can and can't do. So I think a lot of times in the off season you touch on a lot of that stuff and detail it. When you get to the game, you see what the defense does, and then you work through that.
There's not a rule like on a slant, you've got to get inside of the guy, right? If you
Nope,
go on a slant,
it's all different. There's a million rules to all those routes based off of that. Yeah.
Matt, as an offensive coordinator, what type of characteristics and mentality have you been wanting to instill in the offense this year? Kind of put your stamp on it.
Yeah, well, first of all, you start with the leaders that we have. These guys have been doing this in this offense. I'm speaking of Pat and Kels for a long time, and I think for us mentally going into this year, we understand that it's going to be a different year identity-wise. We are getting that. I think we're there. Now it's just fine-tuning it. But we got to have this ability to make sure that when adversity strikes, the leaders in the room take over, and we as coaches can help with that as well. So being tough-minded, being physical, playing smart, and scoring points is really the easiest way to say it. And you navigate through some of that as the year goes on. But the guys are seeing right now that where we sit, it's hard to win in this league. We got the talent, we got the guys. It's now time to really start, putting this thing together and make this push and play our best football at the end of the year.
And kind of speaking of points from a red zone perspective, what are the points you've been hitting with them over the past couple of weeks to convert some of those field goals
Sure.
into touchdowns?
Opportunities, stay away from penalties, and stay away from turnovers. The two easiest are the penalties, and the turnovers are simple. We know that. We've been saying that all year. That that those got to be eliminated. And then the execution down there, things are tighter. Everything happens faster. So for us, we got to be able to. To me, that situational football is a mindset. You got to be locked in at all times, and you got to understand. Not that every play isn't important, but you get down there now, you got to understand, like, you know, we had 2 possessions in that first half last game. So when you get those opportunities and those possessions, you got to come away with 7, not 3. And so that's really what we're hitting home right now.
Last 2.
So a couple things. When you said when adversity strikes, asking the leaders to take over, is that end game?
It's at all points. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, it could be get down 14-0. It could be a turnover, sudden change. At different points, just understanding, and we're kind of going through that right now. We know Pat and Kels are the natural-born leaders. We know that. But it's now these younger guys that are coming in, the new guys that are coming in, as we go through these times, you know, these guys, what do you do in that moment? And you know, it's not just on game day, but what are you doing throughout the week? Practicing fast, practicing hard, being locked in at all times, because that's going to take over on the game day. And we're about to head into a game this weekend, as we all know from playing these guys a lot of times. This is going to be one of those ones that you better get ready to get going. And there's going to be highs and lows in the game. Where are we at? How are we getting calloused? And how are you going to react to it? What's the mindset? And so you better be freaking locked in and ready to go.
Relatedly, I mean, fourth quarters haven't served you well, especially just in situations where we're trailing. Do you put that in the same box as any frustrations you have with the offense, or is there something separate?
No, and again, the frustrations, that word's used, or you see that or you hear that, but you know, for us, we try to honestly, and I'm not just saying this, like there's a lot. These guys are doing good things, like they're executing, they're doing good things. It's eliminating the negative stuff because we're right there, and so sticking together through those times, knowing that we can be better, and we just eliminate a few things here or there, we're going to be right where we want to be. So we try to stay positive in this thing, and you know, you start to get too negative, and then all of a sudden guys start playing tight. That's not what we want. Like, stick together. We understand we got good talent, and we're going to go out there and really do our thing. And this is where, as a team, you got to lock in and have all 3 phases going in this December football to make that push. So I don't know if I answered your question, but I just know that these guys are doing a good job of sticking together, and now we just got to go do it.
Matt, I know McKinnon hadn't played the last couple weeks because of the injury, but even before that, he wasn't playing a ton other than maybe on third downs. Is there something going on with him? Is it a load management thing with him, or is there a reason maybe he hadn't gotten a little bit more?
No, I'd say if anything, it's probably just load management. I mean, he's been in the league quite a while now, and but he takes care of his body. He does everything the right way. I mean, he had a very productive year last year in parts of the offense, and so that combined with some of what he's been through injury-wise, you just want to be smart with him. And again, we're getting to that point right now in the offense, and then you have that running back position. You want to have depth, but we love where he's at, and he's been phenomenal in that room as a leader and as a player.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, thanks.
That's it, right?